Happy Monday. This is Mrs. Fry. We're going to continue learning about functions today, but we're going to be working on finding inverses. Previously, we were learning about operations with functions, and then we were even learning about composite functions. Now, today we're going to talk about a function that's a type of relation, and we're going to be finding inverses. A relation between two sets is a collection of ordered pairs containing one object from each set. So everything has to be one-to-one. An inverse function is just a function that reverses another function. So I started out really super easy here. Find the inverse for each relation. Okay, so you can see in these problems I've got three ordered pairs, and all you have to do to find the inverse for the relation is just flip-flop the x and y values. So it's going to look like this. The inverse for my first relation, I'm just going to switch around the x and y values. So it'll be negative 8, 5, and then negative 10, 6, and then 14, 12. Okay, we seriously only just switch around the x and y values. You don't have to worry about changing any x or any negatives or any positives, nothing like that. Just flip the numbers. That's it. So let's do another one just to make sure we got it. It's kind of tricky. Don't want to throw you off. So this would be 10, 4, and then negative 3, negative 2, and then 1, negative 1. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to do to find the inverse for a relation. Now, a little bit harder type of problem, finding the inverse for an equation. To find the inverse for an equation, the first step is the same as when it's written as an ordered pair. You want to flip-flop the x and y values, but what does that even look like when it's an equation? Well, it's going to look like this. I'm going to take the x and the y, and I'm switching them. I'm going to make it x equals 2y plus 3. Then solve for y. Okay, let me write down those steps here. First, flip x and y. Second, that's the second step, we're going to solve for y. Those are your two steps. So to solve for y here, I'm going to start out by subtracting 3 on both sides. Minus 3, minus 3. So that makes this x minus 3 equals 2y. Now I need to divide by 2, and I'll be done. The 2's cancel, so y equals, I'm just going to write it like this, x minus 3 over 2. That's the inverse. For y equals 2x plus 3, the inverse would be x minus 3 over 2. Okay, let's try another one. First, flip the x and y. Make it x equals negative 7y minus 5. Then to solve for y, the next thing I should do is add 5 to both sides. Plus 5, plus 5. So that would be x plus 5 equals negative 7y. And then divide both sides by negative 7. I'm just going to write it like this. Y equals x plus 5 over negative 7. That's it. That's my inverse. So far, so good. Let me scroll this up. Just keep following along. Same exact steps. Starting out by switching the x and y. But now I've got some squareds in here, but I don't want the squareds to throw you off. Just make this x equals y squared plus 3. Now we're still solving for y. I think before we left school, we were dealing with radicals and stuff like that, so this might look a little familiar. Then subtract 3 from both sides, so this would be x minus 3 equals y squared. And the opposite of squaring something, because I need to get this y by itself, I need to do the opposite of squaring, would be to take the square root of both sides. Square root of both sides. So that's going to cancel out my square root. Y equals the square root of x minus 3. That's my inverse, the square root of x minus 3. Okay, same thing for letter D. First step, flip the x and y. Make it x equals y minus 5 squared. And now this one, I need to square root both sides next because of the parentheses. With that y minus 5 in the parentheses, that has to stay together right now. So square root both sides, which makes this the square root of x equals, now this cancels, y minus 5. Now I can add the 5 on both sides, plus 5, plus 5. So the square root of x is just by itself. extend that square root sign because the plus 5 is not underneath that square root sign. So that equals y. That's my inverse, the square root of x, and then plus 5 equals y. Okay, so I hope I explained those 4 examples good enough for you guys, and here's your homework for today, just 3 problems. First, I want you to find the inverse for the relation. Then I want you to find an equation for the inverse of each of the following relations. So I've got 2 more of those, and then as always, text me your answers on Remind. Some of you guys haven't been quite sure how to send me your answers. You know, you just write them down on your own sheet of paper and then take a picture of that and send it on Remind. You can also do that with any other assignment that I have given you. Take a picture of it and send it to me on Remind. That's definitely the best way to get me your work. I hope you have a great day. Bye.